Hello guys, well my name is Alvaro Castañet. I love to paint watercolors and here I am in La Habana, Cuba.
A Belén, Belén, Belén va, que nunca pasa de moda, es el son que ríe y que llora.
It is very important that we need to get the feel of the place. Let's see how we go.
Y se baila siempre.
This is a beautiful, popular street in La Habana Vieja. Sunshine bouncing on the buildings on the left-hand side, the awnings, the old cars, the big shadow in the foreground makes an instant painting for me. So everything is there for me to paint it. I just have to do it. Did you notice that I always start on my focal point? And then from the focal point, once I'm happy where I located, I go and expand. So I need a little bit of perspective lines. Anyhow, once the drawing is done, I start with a yellow ochre wash, as you can tell, the hint of burnt sienna. Very quickly moving with my beautiful brushes. You know, they are squirrel brushes and moppy shape. They hold lots of liquid, and I go everywhere without the need of going back into the water container that often. I'm gonna tilt it. So what I do is, because I'm painting some blue for the sky, I'm allowing the wash of the yellows and the siennas of the building to run towards the top part of the sky. I'm just reinforcing, as you can tell, with a little bit of more cerulean blue, with a hint of cobalt actually, the sky. I let the water run the other way. My cerulean blue is a little dirty because it has a bit of yellow ochre went into the cerulean blue wash by accident. We need to tilt it, so we need to make sure that the sky does not invade the buildings. So because otherwise we will be turning all the buildings blue. I warm it up. A little bit of more yellow ochre, because I know that when the previous wash, when it dries off, will be too weak. And look at the sunshine bouncing on the building. I'm gonna use burnt sienna and a little bit of orange on the awnings. I have to go back into the yellow ochre wash. But before that, I get rid of all these reds. Now, let's carry on the same washes. We need color harmony, we need unity in the painting, so we use just the same wash and let it bleed down below. Obviously, I'm using that same wash to capture the highlights on top of the car, so I go negative. You see, by painting the background, I paint the cars. Now I'm gonna paint the road. Ultramarine blue, just a cool wash, like this. When I use red on the very foreground area, I'm coming with shadows there, so I need a little bit of yin and yang, a little bit of warm hue underneath it, so I come with cool on top. Where the tree is gonna go on the right-hand side, I'm using then yellow ochre for the foliage, for the light color of the foliage on the right-hand side. This is an undercoat. one of the most essential things in painting is actually keep on unifying the painting. So before everything dries off, I'm gonna put the windscreen of the car, and we carry on. A little bit of cerulean, and one of the guys on the right hand side, and let it bleed into the foreground. And this is the first wash. I have to let it dry as usual, and then I come back to it in 5-10 minutes. Everything dries off, guys, so, and we are in La Habana, and the weather condition is good. Everything is drying quickly, so it's fantastic without getting too warm. It's fantastic for painting watercolors on site. I'm painting the tree. I'm using the same hues, even though to you looks green. It's actually sienna, cerulean, a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of lavender with it. I keep on blending. I blend the tree with the figure, with the building at the back. Using a blending of brown madder and blue for the reflection. My blue is ultramarine blue with a little bit of cerulean. And the red you can see, it is brown madder. I told you, I'm cooling it down and I'm making it work. Yin and yang, warm and cool. That has to happen often. I'm gonna paint the car now. In the car, I will paint it green turquoise. Because everything is warmish, so what a good idea to cool it down. Did you notice I went dark before? Yes, I went dark and then I'm going lighter. So I'm painting from dark to light. I'm not obeying the law of the medium. So to fix up those shadows that they look a bit funny, I have to put another wash again. I'm using cobalt blue on top of the previous wash. That's why I was insisting with the red beforehand, because imagine if I paint the whole thing blue, it would be boring. Now, I'm gonna paint the figures here before these two washes dries off to echo and enhances the light of the green car. So while the wash of the shadows is still wet, I drop the green on top to enhance the light. Well, I join the figures with the upper section and the bottom of the painting. And I put the color for the faces already, which is a blend of Camion yellow and Camion red. Then once I'm satisfied with this, I move it to the left hand side. Okay. We need to paint the shadows, the glorious shadows, all these things. The shadows holds the painting together. The shadows actually holds the light together. That's why I'm insisting on it. And the shadows are so important because pulls the light together, create the light, create sunshine. Using the same hues, burnt sienna, all the time for the shadows on the buildings, and an ultramarine blue. I carry on. Now I'm going to paint the shadows underneath it. So here we go, all the washes and all the brushstrokes on the buildings and all the awning. I'm going to reinforce these shadows by putting a little bit of a stronger value for the windows. Obviously, I drop the shadows first, and then I build on them. You know, I just drop wet while they are wet. It doesn't matter so much the color. At this stage, what I'm very much aware of, and the necessity of it, is once I paint the shadows on the building, I need to go straight away on top of them with some dark touches for making them read exactly like shadows. Now I'm gonna paint the upper side of the street scene where the sunlight is bouncing on the building. I need dry brush strokes, and those dry brush strokes have to be done with the right ratio water pigment, so I get the right value as well. So that's why I'm insisting in getting the right relationship, pigment versus water, and the color. Try to get the feeling and the architectural features of these magnificent buildings of La Habana. I love watercolor. Look at all when we paint with such a broadness and finesse, we always play honor to this magnificent medium, actually, that watercolor is. I've done the buildings. Well, near there, I need to do something else before I move on. Just do all these bits and pieces happening up there. Now I have to connect that with a car, with work a little bit more here on this section behind, I mean in the middle ground and background, then come back into this figure, finishing the figure up, and the painting will be done. Now, what we got to do is just simply pull it together. You know, that's why I'm working on dry brushwork. I'm pulling the cards together, and we got some figures. We're making it happy and busy. Morning type of light, afternoon type of light in beautiful Havana. But that shadow that comes between the legs here, I will be prolonging that shadow all the way into the end. I have to see whether I got the right color, or if I don't, I just put the brushstroke on, and then that. And these two guys, and in conjunction with the car. Now, I need the guy here. Beyond dark. Lady, bag, a little bit of joining here with a softening the edge, skirt, and legs. So all these touches are just pulling the painting together, you know, a little bit of lavender on the shirt of the guy, some, as usual, some highlights on figures by using Chinese white and yellow ochre. Nearly there. I'm going to put the public lighting and that's it. What is the most important thing in painting is the end result. What is the story, how you finish the painting, and the finesse of execution. So it comes to a department that is art quality. And I think this painting of mine resembles that aspect of art. You know, it has not only beautiful light, it plays honor to the traditional watercolor art is all about. It's a very appealing, quick painting of La Habana Vieja, with all the buildings and all the old cars that are typical from that city. There is a design that says Castillo de Flores. I forgot to put it on. And maybe that could be a good idea. The thing is, the painting has already a color scheme, okay? And I have a choice, either to put a note to make my painting more sparkling, perhaps, or louder. That would mean to put a red or a bright green. But then if I do that here, it creates a conflict of interest between the old car, and that. So I think I'm just going to put a muted hue, a little bit of cobalt and neutral tint, and I think I'll be okay. And I put it here. And maybe a little red dot. There. That's it. I peel off the tape and we take it from there. And you know what? Something that is beyond the painting itself. I end up the day in a good note. You know what? It makes me happy. So I can go now, have a beer, have dinner, and I feel I achieved something. I do like the painting, I'm happy with it, and I hope you enjoy me doing the painting. I hope you enjoy the process. That is very important, to enjoy the process, and I did enjoy the process of doing the painting. Very important to, when we come into painting watercolors, paint with authority, paint with energy, and trust in yourself. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the painting. Let me know how you feel about it. Give me a call.